Drop back several positions. What are we going to see in this second one?
I think we're going to see a lot of the same. At least that's what I'm hoping for. But if you're a guy like R.J. Hampshire, you got to stop the train that's rolling with Levi Kitchen, or that thing's going to be headed on to Salt Lake for the championship.
Let's see what Michael Mosiman can do in this second race as well. Set to go. Race 2, Triple Crown, 250 West. Let's do it. Kitchen with a really good start, but he's drifted wide. He's drifted wide. Can he hang on to it? Who gets that Ghostbusters hole shot? It's Ryder D Francisco.
Well, Ryder D would have had the lead, and he overjumped one of the doubles through the rhythm section, and that's the only reason that Kitchen was able to get into the lead. Otherwise, it'd be a different story. Where is R.J. Hampshire? Oh, man, this is going to be costly. Think of all those great guys that is in front of R.J. He's got a lot of work ahead of him. Another great opportunity, a great start for Levi Kitchen. This guy's just in another zone. I feel like from last week on, man, this is what we thought this guy was, his potential was.
Inside move, Jordan Smith on Ryder D Francisco. And the Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racer goes into second, ahead of the Red Bull Gas Pilot, the Troy Lee design rider.
Remember, we talked about after that feature with Jordan Smith, just how fast he is. It's going to be funny to see, or not funny, going to be fun to watch these next couple laps and see if he can reel it in. And one thing is for sure, he'll turn it loose. Oh, see the red flag.
Oh, that's Michael Mosiman.
Oh, yeah, that's.
He had a big crash in qualifying practice where he went over the bars, over the front of the bike, cartwheeled, and he was able to get up and start and finish and race well in race 1. But Michael is down in just his second race meeting back.
Talk about a rough weekend last week. Oh, man. Oh, hold on there. Oh, this is good. Jordan's keeping Levi at bay, not letting him get away. And this is what I love to see. How does Kitchen respond? Does he keep, keep his demeanor, not panic, and just race his race?
Well, in the opening race, he was able to get by Juju Beaumer and then take off, and Beaumer was engaged in that wrestle, that arm wrestle with Joe Shimoda and the rest. So in third, it's Ryder D Francisco, then Nate Thrasher, Phil Nicoletti with a far improved performance in this second race. That'll boost Phil's spirits on the Club MX Yamaha.
Little redemption, and again, what happened that first race definitely wasn't his fault. So great to see Phil out here rolling.
Shimoda's working. He's working on Nicoletti, but he can't quite find an avenue by. Then Garrett Marchbanks, Simonson, and Robbie Wageman.
Oh, look.
Side by side, Shimoda, Nicoletti, the Honda HRC rider gets by.
That was a crafty pass by Joe Shimoda. Stayed a bit lower and was able to get to the left side of that rhythm section and make the move because of it, because of that low line.
That's Nate Thrasher, the next one on his list for Joe Shimoda up front. Levi Kitchen doesn't even have 1 second over Jordan Smith. This is a great scrap for 2 of the top 3 in the championship points. Now R.J. Hampshire enters the story. There's the 24, finally.
Well, he's been behind Joe this last lap. And but when you look at the top of the screen and you can see the gap there, there's just too many guys in front of him to really help himself for an overall position. JT.
Well, number 36, Phil Nicoletti, DNF that first one, as we've shown. I just spoke with this mechanic, and a freak thing happened. They think a rock or some sort of sheet metal from the racetrack knocked the hose clamp off, the bike overheated. Something they mentioned that they think also happened to Ken Roczen, so we'll have to follow up and see if it was the same exact thing. But, yeah, freak deal for Phil Nicoletti.
Oh, what a shame. Well, he's running a lot better in this one, in 7th place at the moment. Bottom screen, bottom box. Levi Kitchen is not going to have a runaway situation this time. Jordan Smith says, I am here.
And this is what I love to see is, again, how does Levi Kitchen react? Does he just ride his race? And if Jordan Smith is able to make a move, does he just let Jordan Smith go by? Will.
Maybe I can help you answer that, Ricky. Talking to Levi earlier, obviously, and overall is the big picture focus here tonight. He said, you know, the statement ride that he called it, he said, yeah, it was that last weekend in Seattle. He's like, but to back it up, to get a second one is the most important thing. But it is on his mind to do a sweep here. He's very aware that that is rarely done in both 450 and 250, and he feels if he can go into the break making that kind of statement, that's important.
Oh, it'd be so huge if you'd be able to do that. Now he build a little gap on Jordan.
Updated event points as they run. Remember, it's lowest cumulative point score wins, and Kitchen would get a 1-1 as they run at the moment. Jordan Smith, then Joe Shimoda. But let's talk more about the race leader, Jason.
Well, when you think about Levi Kitchen, he's only 17 races into his Monster Energy Supercross career, and you would usually associate that with a rider that's 17, maybe 18 years old. That's not the case with Levi Kitchen. He's 23 years old. He got a little bit of a later start. He was a late bloomer in the pro class, so I think he's a little bit more equipped maturity-wise to handle these situations, and you see him really turning the corner in this class. He gets out front, doesn't make mistakes, and he looks like he's in firm control of this series.
Just breaking away from the 250s for a moment and a 450 update. Will Christian has more on Ken Roxon's situation. Will?
Thank you, Lee. That's right. I've come over here to Suzuki right now. We saw Ken Roxon there in that first Triple Crown race. Problems with the bike, smoke coming out. Came over here to see what was going on. They take two bikes. They have a backup bike in Triple Crown rounds because the turnaround is so fast between it that they can't make any repairs. And that's exactly what is going on over here. The first bike actually got a hole in the radiator, so the fluid was leaking. That's what we saw smoking. A full engine turnaround to take that out and replace it would take far too long. So they've gone to the second bike. There was a lot of hustle to get that bike ready. They just wanted to triple check everything because it hasn't been ridden yesterday or today to make sure everything was right for Ken to get out there for the second race of the night, guys.
Good stuff. Thanks for that, Will. I want to go back to an off-season and early season story that involves this guy here leading the race. Levi Kitchen, who switched from Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing to the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki team. He had a discussion with Mitch Payton, one of your old bosses.
Yep.
And he said, listen, I would much prefer to stay in Florida. And Mitch said, you can do that so long as your results are sufficient and satisfactory. And he's lived up to that request and that part of the deal.
Yeah, he's living up to his end of the deal, and I appreciate Mitch for giving him that opportunity.
Yeah.
And Mitch did the right thing because, truth be told, it probably is the best thing for Levi Kitchen to be in his happy place, and Mitch is going to let you do that. But if you start to underperform, then you're going to play Mitch's game.
And you're going to go into the other coast. You're going to go to California instead of Florida. Where are these guys going? RJ Hampshire on Nate Thrasher. Hampshire on the right-hand side of your screen. Love this drone shot. Look at this. Trying to work a line, switches back, RJ Hampshire. Here comes the Rockstar Energy Factory Husqvarna.
Yeah, perfect pass by RJ Hampshire. Crosses under Nate Thrasher. Has a better line, positions himself to be on the inside of that left-hander. And it was game over for Nate Thrasher. That was a beautiful pass by RJ.
And just like that, Ricky, less than 2 minutes plus a lap to go.
Very similar to what we saw in race one with RJ Hampshire as he made a late race push, got up to around the fourth place position. And that's where he is now.
This is a huge boost for Joe Shimoda because the theme or the story of the season for this guy is probably woulda, coulda, shoulda. So this is a lot more stability and a lot more consistency. The best we've seen from Joe, I think. This is a little bit more like it. This is what we expected pre-season coming in to A1. And there's just been a few bobbles here and there, a few things that have happened that have halted his progress. But if he can get back-to-back top threes going into the third and final race of the night, it'll be a great night for Joe.
Well, sometimes it's tough, too, when you leave a team and you go to a new team, learning how they work, learning the bike, what works with the bike, what doesn't work with the bike, a lot like what we've seen with Chase Sexton as well. So I think some of what we've seen from Joe Shimoda this season so far is some growing pains getting on this new machine for him.
See if he can hold off RJ Hampshire. Of course, the winner here 2 years ago on our last visit to the Dome here in St. Louis. Missed last year on the schedule. So happy memories here, as Ricky mentioned earlier in the broadcast. Hampshire is coming. Time is almost up. We'll look to those last couple of laps.
This would be huge if RJ could get by Joe Shimoda, and the reason that is because it would bump him up in points going into the final race, and it would give him a better shot at an overall podium, which would help him from a points championship situation.
They're going to have to do 2 more. This is going to be a long and drawn-out fight here for Joe Shimoda, because Hampshire's got the eyes on. This is where you see what a scrapper and a fighter Hampshire is.
Oh, dude, he'll send it. There's no doubt for his lack of effort. He's going to have to catch Joe sleeping. It's going to have to be sneaky, and it's going to have to be quick. He's in a great spot. In order to make a move, he's got to be right on the rear tire of Joe.
Shimoda commented last weekend about he kept dragging his foot peg, and that was putting him off balance and getting him out of his rhythm, and we saw him fall on a couple of occasions last weekend. It's been a really solid ride for the factory Honda rider tonight. Gets a bit out of his rhythm there. He knows that Hampshire is right with him.
RJ's going to have to get him up the inside of one of these corners. He's working hard, going everywhere he can to possibly make the move, especially right here after this finish line, but he goes an alternate route. He goes to the outside this time on that wall jump.
The 21-year-old Japanese rider has done a really good job sustaining this never-ending pressure from Hampshire.
Watch right here coming out.
2 different approaches. Shimoda has a quick look over his shoulder. He's going to have to make that the widest Honda. There it is.
RJ carries a little more speed through the whoop, so that'll be a good opportunity for him to close the gap on Joe and make a run through this final rhythm section right here.
Do you know that Austin Faulkner and Jet Lawrence are the only 2 riders who have won races 1 and 2 in Triple Crown format? And Levi Kitchen up ahead. He's on his way to the checkered flag yet again. The question begs, can anybody stop Levi Kitchen? It's another win for the Kawasaki rider. Jordan Smith second, Joe Shimoda third. Awesome ride to hold off the charging RJ Hampshire.
What a ride by Levi Kitchen. I mean, you go to his phenomenal ride he had last week. It was the first time he'd ran a regular Supercross, a non-Triple Crown. And he just looks so comfortable on this machine, riding with a ton of confidence, and man, it's awesome to see.
The chef is cooking up something special. Levi Kitchen wins again.
This copy